My name is Kelly Lavelle, and you are watching YouEffect. This is a show dedicated to empowering the youth voice. We are not the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders of today. And this show is committed to helping you find your passion and demonstrating how you can take action to achieve your potential. Today's theme is Be You. We want to answer the question, what does it mean to be you? What are the obstacles and difficulties you face in simply being true to yourself? So many times in our lives, we end up being a chameleon, trying to fit in and becoming versions of what other people want us to be. We're scared to show our true natures and are afraid what other people will think of us. Here today, I'm telling you that standing out in a crowd, being different, unique, and beautiful is the best thing you can do for yourself. I used to be a chameleon. I used to say what I thought I should say and not what I believed in. And in the end, I found myself surrounded by people who called themselves my friends, but didn't care about me. I found myself bullied and alone. When things were darkest, when I was alone, I realized the only person I owed anything to was the person looking back at me in the mirror. Who was she? When people asked me what my interests were, I had nothing to say. I was so caught up in what others wanted from me that in the end, my true voice was buried so deep inside. I decided to find out who I was, and in doing so, this shy, delicate, bullied girl became a bubbly, bold, and passionate person who isn't afraid to stand out in the crowd. You should embrace your quirks, your weirdness, your difference, because these are the things that make you you. And in the end, it's your happiness that matters. Now let's go to our featured guest who embodies our message for today. Joining us on YouEffect is singer-songwriter and model Anastasia A. You may know her from her latest single, exclusively on Family Channel, My Love, or one of her many philanthropic ventures. It's clear that this recording artist is dedicated to inspiring change in our communities, and it's a pleasure to be with you today, Anastasia.
Thanks for coming into my little nook. My little second home.
Well, it's great to be here.
A lot of buttons, right?
It's a lot. I envy those who have to study sound.
I love how I always take pictures like as if I know what these buttons do. Like I really don't. I leave it to the experts. I just come in and sing.
Yeah, it makes me nervous to want to touch any of it. But
yeah, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
So as you know, the theme of our episode is Be You. So what does it mean to be you?
I think being you means thinking for yourself, just acting upon things that you stand up for, just getting up in the morning and doing what you love and not having to conform with what other people want you to do or what other people want you to be.
And naturally then, as a recording artist, you must get that a lot where people are trying to tell you what to be or what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that with my business, you're always being told what you should sound like. I mean, when you get into a studio, someone's like, oh, you should do a Katy Perry song or something like that. It's very much, people like to influence you. And especially with style and everything, being in the spotlight or always being watched and stuff like that, you have to be on your A game. So I feel like creating your own style and your own sound is very much important to being an artist.
That's very true, and I think that's encountered in almost all industries. Like I myself was just told when I was moving to Toronto for this, I had someone tell me, and they're like, okay, well, we have to get you a whole new style. Let's go through your wardrobe, get you a makeover, and I was just like, I'm happy being me.
Well, you have a really good style.
Oh, well, thank you. But so in the midst of all this pressure and everyone keeps on in your ear telling you who to be, how do you stay true to yourself?
I have really good people around me. I have amazing mentors. I think that one of the things that I realized earlier this year was instead of trying to compete with other artists, instead of really being very nervous about how I look and what people think about me, I just create my own style and work on my own music. And I feel like that way people will look up to me and they will look up to my stuff instead of competing. I just feel it's easier. It's not as much pressure. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're working on, being yourself, releasing the kind of music that makes you feel good instead of trying to follow the charts or the trends and what it has to sound like. I just send out my own stuff and then hopefully it resonates with my fans.
Well, I think that shows in your music, and you can really tell the difference between someone who's just trying to mock someone else and someone who's really true to themselves. It's your uniqueness and your quirks, I think, that build the audience that people like about you.
Thank you.
Naturally then, do you have any quirks? Like what is unique about Anastasia?
I'm very goofy. I think that sometimes when people look at my Instagram or my Twitter or my Facebook, they see this, lavish lifestyle. They see different trips I'm on or in the studio and stuff like that. But, when lights and cameras are off and all that stuff, or even when they're on, like right now, I'm very much of a goofy, fun kind of person. I've always been that like loud, over the top girl. Like my mom used to have to pull me out of the park because I'd be the girl screaming, like having too much fun and all that stuff. So I feel like I have a really like goofy side.
Yeah, and you're embracing your individuality, I think. And,
absolutely.
I think in general, media itself, what is your opinion on how they perceive embracing individuality? Because I think there's mixed messages there.
Absolutely. In the media, I feel like, okay, so the media is so important to our pop culture, to everybody is looking to the media for how do I dress, how do I look, what's popular, what's going on around the world, or what's even going around in what's going on in Canada.
And that really goes against the grain of kind of embracing individuality and being yourself.
Exactly, because I feel like there's a very good purpose for the media, but at the same time, I don't see too many positive role models in today's society. One of the things that I see is just a lot of people very, very much focusing on what car do you have, what kind of purse do you have, the Kim Kardashians of today kind of deal. And I feel like with today, having access to the internet and being able to create possibilities, there are not too many positive role models for females, and especially positive role models for males as well.
So it's definitely something that we have to look to role models like yourself, and kind of empower yourself from within to embrace that individuality, because you're really helping pave a path that shows that by embracing your quirks and your uniqueness, you can achieve your potential, and you can find happiness in life too. I feel as if sometimes when you try to be someone else, you feel hollow inside, kind of this empty shell.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, there was a long period of time in my life that I wasn't being myself, and I feel like that just derived from the wanting to achieve something or succeed in the field that I was working towards, and I was always almost there, but never completely there. And I had a lot of really great people come in and out of my life, and they've taught me to really be myself and, forget about all of that. Just do you. And as soon as I started doing that, everything just kind of lined up
fell into place.
And it just started going. So I really think that's so important. Like, I really cannot stress enough to people that want to be in this business to be yourself.
So as you're developing your career and trying to be you, how do you deal with the expectations of the industry and media on you?
Well, for me, particularly in my career, I have two audiences, two different genres going on. I've got pop and I have dance, and I'm trying to kind of merge it together right now, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure with my younger audience and my older audience. But I feel like it is manageable when you really think before you do things, and you really focus on how that's going to affect the other people. I see a lot of artists that do things and they post pictures and they don't really think of the repercussions of their actions. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm very, very much aware of what I post and what I do. And
very introspective. That way. Yeah.
You have to. I feel like you have to always remember that there are people watching you, whether they're younger or older, and you're making a statement each and every time that you do something. And it's not only affecting your life and the people around you, but it's affecting other people into a ripple effect. So when I'm doing something positive for other people, that may inspire one person, but that might change their life forever, and it might ripple into their family and their family's family. And like, it's just very important what you put out there as an artist. You have to be very careful.
So with your career in media, with media's negativity around embracing individuality, what do you do to address something like that when it's so intertwined with your career?
Well, I feel like I have a platform that I can use with, you know, when I first started this whole venture going into the music industry, I was doing it for me. You know, I wanted to do what I wanted to do. Yeah. I wanted to be a pop star kind of deal. But throughout the year, I've been able to meet some incredible people that have changed my life, and organizations that I've teamed up with. And I really have now committed my career to inspiring people through my pop music, through my songwriting, and all my ventures. So I think one of the things that I use my social media and my videos and stuff like that, I'm able to, you know, show them what I'm doing in my community, hoping to inspire them to want to do that too.
You're essentially using your voice to empower others.
Exactly, yeah. So, because there's not too many artists that, you know, they're using their channels and stuff to show that. I feel like they're constricted to only showing their music videos or their interviews. But for me, I'm just like, I don't care. Like, here's me doing this, here's me doing that. And I feel like that resonates with people better. They get to actually see how I'm contributing. And I really just want people to join me with that and my adventures too.
Literally sharing your voice both in music and Anastasia on her own. And I think you touched on an important point, because a lot of youth out there have these resources available to them. They can share their voice with social media at their fingertips. They can really make a difference if they really empower themselves and collaborate with their peers. And so I think you're setting a great example that way. And do you have any advice for young people who may be going through the similar struggles where they're being told by others around them of who to be, and they really want to be true to themselves but maybe aren't sure how?
Yeah, I feel it's very difficult. I mean, with any industry that you go in, you're walking into people with years of experience, people who are running the show, people who have their own way of doing things. And it's definitely a challenge at first, but I feel like my advice would be to not listen to that, to really understand like that anything is possible, and that you don't have to be constricted to what is placed for you when you go into something. A lot of the clients that I work with, when I train them with music or vocals and stuff, I always tell them I don't want to constrict you or force you into a bubble of what you have to be, what you have to sound like, or what you have to do. I really inspire them to flourish and to create their own things.
Yeah. And so, if you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be?
Lovable, I guess, or loving. Loving is the right word. Yeah.
I think lovable too.
Thank you.
And if you could define one moment that defines you, what would it be?
From this industry type.
If you could describe an experience that kind of defines you, that a moment where you really discovered who you were.
Yes, a year and a half ago, which feels just like yesterday, I was working so hard on an education. I was finishing up a lot of schooling, and something had happened in my life, and I did a 360 where I had to switch careers. It came to a point where I didn't know what was happening anymore, and I wanted to do something better for myself, and I wanted to follow my dreams. So when I went towards creating a music career for myself, I had to give up everything. I had to give up like having a nice apartment. I actually had to sleep on a floor for about 6 months, not have the food that I wanted. And that then right there, like no matter how many times I wanted to give up, I felt like something inside of me just kept fighting, and I just didn't want to fail at the mission that I was after. Like once I set it, I didn't want to fail. So it was really interesting seeing all the things I had to go through, all the people that closed doors in my face, all the people that said, you're not going to make it, no, you won't be doing this, and just kind of working through it and believing in myself. And now I can turn around and say, ha, I did it.
That's very true. A lot of times people think it's just this easy road that you turn on a switch and you know who you are and everything kind of falls into place. But there is some that struggle time where you really have to really push through in some regards and go through the grain. But in the end...
Or dirt. Yeah. Or carpet.
Or garbage and food. Yeah. But in the end, it's all worth it. And you're living that right now, and you're showing others that if you stay true to yourself, you can pull through.
Yeah.
And so if you were to go back in time and give advice to the little you, what would you say?
I think that if I could go back in time and talk to the little me, I would just say, hang in there, tiger, do you, and don't ever listen to the big bosses and what they say, because you know what, I've learned now that no one person is too intimidating. No one big boss can do it all themselves. It's teamwork makes dream work, and just keep the positive people around you. I feel like a lot of the times when I was growing up, I had this desire to help other people, and people were draining me down with them, and you just have to find a way to help people that's not pulling you down as well.
Surround yourself with positivity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. Just have the little sunshine in your life, and you're good to go.
And our last question for today: if you had a superpower and could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
I think it would be to make people smile with like a magic wand. So I'd just like walk around and like ding, smiling, ding, you're smiling. I mean, I read this article where even if you fake smile, like if you wake up and you have a smile on your face, it actually changes your entire mood, your day. Like it affects your soul and embodies you, and like it's so crazy.
Well, it really is the power of a smile. When someone's having a bad day and someone just in the street, when you cross paths, smiles at you, it does change the way you look at things sometimes.
I think if everyone was smiling, everyone would be a lot nicer to each other, and there's a lot of miscommunication when people are not smiling. So I think that being in a positive room with people smiling, it just makes everything work. Like positivity makes things work.
Positivity breeds positivity. I think it makes the whole world go round. It can really change everyone's attitude. So definitely need more of that right now.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you so much for being with us today, Anastasia. It was a great pleasure.
It was my pleasure too.
And back with more YouEffect. We've heard from our featured guest, the lovely Anastasia A. But now we want to hear from you.
To be you is to be able to sit down with yourself in a quiet place, away from all the world and all the noise and all the distractions, and think about your life.
We are never too young to make a difference.
I feel like you have to be confident and you have to be happy with the way you are.
And not only a difference, but a change.
One of the important struggles that I believe that youth face is fitting in and being accepted while in high school.
A change in opinions, mindsets, and our community.
Think about your hopes, your goals, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what you get all lit up about, and in that establish for yourself an identity.
We all have the potential to do something extraordinary, and even help others along the way.
When I look at myself, I see a positive, strong, happy, smiley person.
Some people say we're just young, immature teenagers, and even a little naive, and we don't even know how the world works. But that isn't true.
We're all meant to be unique, and that regardless of the way that we look or the way that we act, we all have a positive impact in someone else's life.
Once you find where your heart truly sits, then follow it no matter where it goes.
So many times these days, teens don't feel like they're confident, they can't overcome their difficulties. But I want you to know that there's always someone out there that cares about you and wants you to succeed.
We're involved in social justice, watch the news, and even read the paper.
I've been so blessed and thankful to lead the life that I have.
We can all make our community, our country, and our world a better place if we just cared a little more.
We are a piece of the puzzle called life.
You have to believe in yourself in order to accomplish anything. If you can dream and you can aspire to those things, you'll become successful.
Find yourself like that and be exactly that. Don't change for anyone because, well, there's no other way to be.
take some initiative. It's never too late to start.
Shout out to YouEffect. They're a great organization.
As you can plainly see, you are not alone. There are so many people wanting to embrace their individuality. Don't let society take away your uniqueness. Don't become a chameleon like I was. Don't step back in the crowd and push who you are under the surface, because you are you. Be awesome. Be you. Thank you for tuning in to YouEffect. Submit your You Voice video for our next episode, where we deal with breaking free from stereotypes and pressures. I'm Kelly Lavelle, and remember, change starts with you.